Cool. So this is the first trick that we're making for our amusement park themed machine. It's a roller coaster trick, as you can see from the Kinect's roller coaster track. It's essentially inspired by those roller coasters that go forward one way through some type of loop-de-loop slash twisty thing. They go up and then they go backwards the other way. And the idea is that we're going to have a ball go into this little holder here. I made this special little holder that holds the ball in place. And then the car is going to go down through the loop-de-loop, go up, attach to the slider, slide all the way up, and then go back through the loop-de-loop. And then it's only day one, so we don't really have this yet, but we're going to have a little stopper here that's going to stop the ball or stop the cart once it goes past this point in its final position, and then kick the ball out because the ball comes out really easily out of this cart. But yeah, so we'll demonstrate that right now. Yeah, nice.
Okay, that was cool. Now,
Talk about what you're making.
so I've been working on what is going to eventually become the pirate ship, and it's based on sort of a upside down flexozoid thing. It's actually inspired by a rocking chair motion. So basically the idea is like this. It flexes in this sort of weird back and forth way, and it's a perfect opportunity to do some kind of auto tilting board trick. And so right now I've been working on sort of sketching out exactly what that trick is going to be. And this is going to end up being hopefully, if it works, once I actually go and make it properly, this is going to be the ball path on the top of the tilting board. And then, like I said, it's the pirate ship trick. So the plan is to sort of decorate it like a pirate ship. So there's going to be like ship cutouts on either side of the board, and then probably some waves or something on the structure itself to make it look like it's rocking in the water. And then this is going at the front of the table. The roller coaster is already attached to the table at the back. What is the plan for this corner?
Yeah, so for the last three tricks, we're planning to have a Ferris wheel go over here. That's going to be sort of a centrifugal force Ferris wheel trick. I want to have some like the little like holders for the like swings on the Ferris wheel. I want to have them like kind of closed in initially, and then have them spin. And then the faster the Ferris wheel spins, due to centrifugal force, all of the seats on the Ferris wheel will like expand outward, like the sort of expanding motion, and it'll look like a regular Ferris wheel in the end, and then the ball will do a full rotation.
I didn't get any of that, but hopefully it will look cool when it exists.
Yeah, centrifugal force, Ferris wheel, that's basically all you need to know. This trick we're planning to do a drop zone tower, so those like extreme rides at the amusement parks where it like goes, you go into the little seat and then it lifts you slowly up the thing, and then it drops you all the way down. We're planning to sort of mimic that with maybe some kind of type of motor-powered mechanism that'll slowly lift up the ball in its little seat, and then it'll drop it, and then we'll have a little string latch that'll sort of bungee jump it back all the way up, and then let it deposit the ball on the way down.
That sounds hard.
It sounds doable to me. I think I can pull it off. And then over here we're going to have some type of spinning teacup ride, like the teacup rides you see at amusement parks once again, but this time using some sort of Lazy Susan and spinning gear mechanism that'll turn the teacups and align them in an interesting way. We still kind of have to work through that idea to determine exactly what that's going to be. But yeah, and that'll be pretty much all the tricks in our machine.
Also worth mentioning is that this is going to be a one-ball path machine. So every trick uses this green ping pong ball, and the idea is that it's, a guy or a ball spending their day at the amusement park and going on all the rides. So also not really clear yet, because it's just day one, is that every trick will have a pretty major element of arts and crafts in it. I touched on it a little bit with the boat and the water, but we want to add a lot of decoration to make this look like real amusement park rides and like a real amusement park. So in some of the empty space, there might be like a little concession stand or some restrooms or walkways or trees, I don't know. And we also want it to start and end in the same place, more or less. So like if it goes through the entrance gate, it should come out the entrance gate and at that point, I guess, exit gate. So it's just like a nice full circle moment. But yeah, that is day one of the amusement park machine, or maybe it'll end up being called something different. But that's what it is. That's the working title at the moment. Amusement park machine. Day one. In the books. It is day two of amusement park machine, and oh boy, look at this new and exciting thing that has appeared. What on earth?
You want me to spill the beans about it? It basically does nothing yet. It is a wheel. It acts as a wheel. But you might notice that it's a little bit fancier than a normal wheel. And that's because if you look really closely, wait, let me do this. It has an aperture design in it. There are rubber bands preventing me from actually doing this right, showcasing this right now. Fail. But basically, yeah, there we go. So they can compress inward, and I want to have a ball on a little like holder thing go around its journey on like this compressed version of the Ferris wheel, and then have it zip out like that, and then go a full journey on the outward Ferris wheel. It's basically the aperture motion, the closing and opening of like a camera lens, for instance. And I incorporated that into a Ferris wheel. And then also earlier today, where's the ball? I guess I should probably. Earlier today, I finished up the start of the roller coaster, so now it has an automatic activation that's just weight-based with a little tiny magnet and a clothespin or thumbtack. That failed, but you get the idea.
Meanwhile, I'm continuing to work on the pirate ship, which looks nothing like a pirate ship. And I've put on top the thing I was sketching out yesterday, the series sequence pattern of track paths. So the idea is does 3 tilts, and on each tilt the ball makes its way down one of the tracks. And these weights just automatically dump off the sides to make sure that it actually swings a full amount each time. So this should work, but the trick itself isn't really done because it still needs to be decorated. But yeah, let's do this. Let's see how this goes. Yep, that is the correct answer. That is what it's supposed to look like. So that is basically day 2 progress. What is the next steps?
Next steps are doing some connection work between what is going to be a pirate ship trick and the top of the roller coaster, like maybe making a ball elevator to lift the ball up to this point. Also doing some type of like dispenser so that this trick can actually stop the car and output the ball onto a track. And then obviously the next step of the Ferris wheel is like actually securing cups onto the ends of as many spokes as I can fit, really, and figuring out some sort of trigger mechanism while it's spinning to get the aperture motion to happen.
All right. Well, that's day 2. Stay tuned for day 3. It is day 3 of the amusement park machine, and we've got a couple of minor, I guess, updates. Do you want to talk about the Ferris wheel?
Yes, the Ferris wheel has like proper decoration now. The inward and outward motion works, but I'll demonstrate that in a later update. But for now, I have it so that once it reaches this outer motion, it'll keep spinning and actually will output the green ball. And then obviously there's little holders for all these other different colored balls as well. And that's pretty much it for the Ferris wheel right now.
Yeah. So today I worked on putting some decoration on the pirate ship. And I also added this extending track off of the left side, which I thought kind of would look like the mast, or not a mast, what is it called on the boat, the thing that sticks out the front?
Is it called a mast?
Well, the masts are the ones that go up, right? Is it the bow? I don't know.
I do not know.
The sticky outy bit.
Deck.
The deck.
I don't know.
The sticky outy bit.
Yeah.
So I've got waves on here now. They're blue, but you can't tell because the shadows are pretty bad. And then I put just cardboard cutouts, or not cardboard, construction paper cutouts around the boat to make it look like a boat. But I'm not totally happy with it yet. I want to put more waves on this side because I think kind of the machine will be filmed at this angle. and you would totally tell that
I guess the beak
the beak,
or the bow,
the bow,
bow,
the bow.
or the figurehead if we put a little
Yeah, if we
thingy
put a little
there.
mermaid up there, yeah. Anyway, I want to put some waves over here because you can totally tell that. Well, I guess you can see how it works, which I guess isn't the end of the world, but we do kind of want to create the illusion of it being a boat swaying in the water. But yeah, other than that, what are we working on tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're gonna be working on. I want to get the mechanics of the Ferris wheel done. So just like the ball entering and triggering the wheel to start spinning, as well as the actual string line that spins it by itself. And then hopefully we'll get done the connection between the end of this pirate ship trick and then the ball going up to enter the roller coaster. So those two things are, I guess, prioritized right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to be, I don't know, after the pirate ship, I'm going to be starting a new trick, and I just want to sort of think about what it's going to be before I start building it, because I didn't really do that for the pirate ship. And I guess I'm kind of happy with how it turned out, but I think it could have been even better if I sort of knew what I was getting into before starting. So whether it's the drop tower or the spinning teacups, I just want to have a clear mental picture of it. And then I'm going to be far more excited about actually building it once I have that. But yeah, tomorrow is building some connections, finishing the roller coaster, hopefully, and who knows what else. We'll have to see. It is day 4 of the amusement park machine, and we've made quite a bit of progress.
Yeah, we have quite a bit more done. We have quite a bit of connection work. Like, for instance, the pirate ship now is fully connected.
Well, it's also fully decorated.
Oh, it's fully decorated.
Yeah.
Got some new spiffy little decorations and a flag. Very cute. But it's also fully connected all the way to the roller coaster through use of this little pipe and elevator shaft we made.
You want to set it up?
I can try. I don't actually
I think the only thing that needs to be set up is that little
There's
latch,
two-
and then
there's
this just
couple
you
balls.
just tilt it back.
Yeah. So hopefully this will work. It didn't work, but if I reset it, then you can kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to do, which is that. Okay.
Spiffy.
Nice, very, very clean test. And then Lyle's been working on this little connection that's going to poke the ball out after the roller coaster stops, which is pretty cool. The Ferris wheel is another thing that is actually, mechanically, it's completely done now. From the starting position, the ball's going to roll along this and enter this little carrier when the wheel is collapsed. And then it's going to expand and open up once this little lever thing here runs over this set of blocks and allow it to do one extra rotation when it's fully expanded, and then dispense the ball out on this little curvy track here. And then what we want to do tomorrow is work on maybe a little more connection stuff, but also this new ride, which is based off of something, I don't know what the official name is. I guess it's kind of like a swinging pendulum, but I usually just call it a cyclone because I think the one at Canada's Wonderland is literally called the Cyclone. But it basically spins and swings at the same time, and you can see it uses this little connects mechanism that basically translates. How would you describe it?
I said it translates rotational motion by 90 degrees.
Yeah. And then it allows for this little spirally motion, and we're going to plan to attach some cups to it and hopefully do one of those tricks where it'll swing, and it's not until it reaches its stopping point that the ball will roll out.
So this was originally going to be a drop tower, but then neither of us, especially Joel, because I didn't spend a lot of time thinking of it, but I guess we couldn't really think of a way to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, there
or
were...
not that, but more just like what the trick would even be.
There was a
really.
couple main issues. One of them was certainly that was what the actual trick would be in terms of like, would it have enough motion to be interesting, like as a standalone machine trick? But the other big issue is that it's like right in front of the Ferris wheel, and I didn't want to block the Ferris wheel from view. Obviously, once again, in the outer angle we generally want the front tricks and the table to be shorter than the tricks in the back. And we're already kind of edging that on a little bit with the pirate ship, so I didn't want to push that any further with the trick I built over here. And so I think the Cyclone is going to be good because we can make it reach a high height during the trick, but it doesn't have to be at that height for the start. So you can still see the full Ferris wheel before reaching the cyclone.
And we've also ordered some teacups for the final teacup trick in this middle empty space. And we still have to kind of think about what that trick is going to be, but I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, this is kind of a very last minute, like far out in the future, long-term type thing, is obviously adding some more decorations to all these tricks. So I don't know what the roller coaster is going to be, but maybe if it's like a snake theme, it's like a serpent thing, you can maybe put snakes and green felt or whatever. And we're going to put like aperture triangles on the Ferris wheel. Not sure about this yet. Not sure about the teacups yet. And then this one's actually mostly done already. But yeah, coming along nicely. Got about, I don't know, a week or so-ish left to go.
Yep.
Day 5 of Amusement Park Machine. And pretty much every trick has been started by this point. So, what do we have here?
Yeah, so this is the progress I've made on the Cyclone. There's still quite a bit of work left. I've been having quite a bit of problems. You can see, I don't know if in the last update I had cups on here yet, but I removed those and I made it more of a track trick. The main issue I have, well, basically the base idea is something like this, where the ball goes in and it snaps up, and then the ball comes out like that. It's a very rough demonstration, but that's generally the most basic form. But the original idea with the track was to have it go all the way around like that and then stop. The main issue is that if you try to do that, then like pretty much no matter what, the ball's going to come right out once it reaches this point, because it's essentially like dumping it. So it's not really possible to do the full motion. So I've kind of been struggling with if I want to do the simple version, and if so, like how do I execute that in a way that actually looks clean, and just a lot of yeah, I'm just kind of in a bit of a pickle right now with that. But Lyle can talk about his situation over here.
I mean, what you're seeing on the table now is a kind of a success story, but the story of the teacups in general is nothing but an abject failure. I just spent basically the whole day sulking because I could not figure out how to make the whole teacups thing work. So we ordered these from Amazon. They're the perfect size. Nothing to complain about in terms of the actual cups. It's just, I don't know. I guess the idea was something like the cups rearrange themselves and then a ball jumps from cup to cup, but then you have to make like levers inside the cups that flick the ball out, and then they have to be automatically triggered by the weight of the ball, but nothing can be off the platform because everything has to be like self-contained on top of the gears, because obviously the gears are rotating. So it wasn't. And then of course, like any extra infrastructure to support the levers has to like clear the other cups as they rotate. There's just no room to make anything possible. There's no room to do any of that. And like, you have to make so many compromises. You have to make it so that the ball doesn't really go into the cup all the way, or that the lever looks really ugly, or it's got this really long extension off of it, or you'd have to put so much space in between the cups that it's impossible for them to even jump. You'd have to put like track segments in the middle. And it just kind of, there was no way to actually do the trick. And so we still don't know really what's going to go on top of these, except definitely the cups somehow. So that's where we're at, basically. There were not a huge happy day, I guess, but progress has been made regardless. Let's see how things go tomorrow. Day 6. What do we got here?
So this trick is pretty much done, aside from maybe some polishing up and getting it to be a little bit more reliable. But generally, the Cyclone ride is complete. So we have it just doing one iteration. The ball goes into the cup, then it swings, and while it's swinging, it's switching 180 degrees around this thing. Well, is it 180 degrees? What is it actually rotating?
I don't know. Well,
It's hard to know for sure.
But
Well, it
it
is
rotates,
180.
and then the cup ends up on this side, and the ball is able to roll
It
out.
is 180 because otherwise it would be upside down. So it's correcting the upside downness.
But yeah, so the final position is in place, and then the connections that lead up into it are pretty much done. So
And we've
hopefully,
added, well, we've added a paper clip, or not paper clip, clothespin launch.
yeah.
So it goes up through the tube, over the little green bridge, and then into the cup. And then there's the timing with the blue ball down here to release the cyclone.
Yeah,
at
the main
right
issue
time.
is that it's possible the ball could be going too fast that it could literally like bounce out of the cup
Yeah.
and not really
Well,
stick in there. But
We
we'll
will
see.
see.
See if it works this time. That was a different type of issue.
Yeah. Did it get caught in the groove?
It got caught here because
That's
this.
what I mean, the groove.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'll add a little clear
Yeah, you
height
could-
thing there.
Yeah.
I was gonna add a tube piece, but I could add literally anything.
Literally, it just
That's-
needs to be like a small piece of paper or something, because this part, the tube swings down, so anything that's covering that gap would be.
Oh yeah. The
Oh,
rubber band's not there.
rubber band's not there.
All right.
And
Looks fantastic.
you want to flip the switch on this?
I don't even know where the switch is.
It's on this side towards you. There you go. So this is what I've come up with for the teacup trick. I had this spinning platform stuff built yesterday, kind of, but I didn't actually demo it. But now I can show you what it does. So it's powered entirely by, well, the spinning platform itself is just a battery, but then this wheel that rotates around the outside is rolling around the outer circle, which powers this gear, which powers this gear, which powers this gear, which powers every gear. So the idea is to make these sort of planetary gear things that mimic the motion of the teacup ride. Yeah, so the change from yesterday was just that the gears were wobbling too much, so I had to change them from rotating separately from the axle to rotating with the axle. And then the reason they're so high up now is because they need a really long tube to constrain the axle so that they don't wobble. But that's basically all that there is to that. There's no other reason for the height. Although it does give me the ability to do this sort of thing with the hanging weight. So what I'm going to try to do tomorrow is make the other cups on this gear and then make it so that the cup starts, or the ball starts in the pink cup with the spoon, and then at a certain point the weight gets knocked off and it jumps from one gear to the other, or one cup to another, switching gears. So that I don't think will be the hard part. I've done all the hard work for that. The hard part I think will be getting it out of the second cup somehow. And then I haven't really thought at all about how that's going to work. But yeah, this is a funky little trick that's caused a lot of problems, and it's just very precise. Everything has to be perfectly glued in exactly the right position, or else the gears don't mesh, or the wheel rubs too much, or the wheel rubs not enough, so on. So that's that. But progress is coming along. What's next for you, Joel?
Next is basically, well, right now would be adding a little clear tube or clear piece of plastic so that this gets a little bit more height leading into this, and then maybe some sort of exit. But I mean, basically for the pathing of this machine, we've kind of determined that if it's going to start with the teacups and end with this, then like maybe somewhere along here we'll have some kind of entrance and exit to the park that we could work on at some point. The next like I guess big thing that I could work on would be the ball mover / ball transition from the end of the roller coaster leading all the way up until the entrance to the Ferris wheel, which is right here. So that's probably what I'll work on next.
Okay. It is day 7 of the amusement park machine, and things are finally starting to take shape. Well, I guess they were a couple days ago taking shape, but really now you can sort of see the final look.
Felt like testing during an update was appropriate.
Yeah.
It almost worked.
Don't you just love it when funnels don't operate properly.
Yeah, well, basically my plans for this, because you might notice that this is a little different. There's a little clear tube thing here, and that's because we basically needed a way to get all the way from the end of the roller coaster, which is like at the near the ground level here, all the way over to above ground level entry to the Ferris wheel. And so I've been working on this path connection system, which essentially is this big, I don't even know what you call it, like it's essentially a ball elevator but diagonal. I've made one before, but using...
I've been calling it the ski lift.
Yeah, ski lift. Before I made it using rod sliders, but unfortunately we're using our longest rod sliders for the elevator, which is over here. So I thought of the idea, why not use like some kind of foreign object thing, or you basically use this long tube, because Lyle has this like slightly wider cut of tube which can go around it, and it fits perfectly. And so I kind of designed this little connect system with some straws, which does seem to function. If I can poke this ball out. Seems to work. But now it's just a matter of making sure the ball doesn't bounce out, which I might put a little redirector thing to make sure it goes around the tube nicely.
In other news, in more depressing, less yay, it works news, the teacups. So last time, I think I was talking about designing some system of automatically knocking off a weight and making the ball jump from cup to cup. Yeah, that's all been tossed in the garbage.
It's in the bin.
Yeah. So the idea's been nerfed a bit, but at least we're left with something that still looks like the ride, which is kind of the bare minimum for a teacup trick, I think. So it really, all it is now is ball enters a cup, and then it spins around for a while, and then it gets to this position, and then, do you want to demonstrate the lever? Or no, the white one. You push down on the white, and then it pops the cup. Well, if you do it...
With a little more force.
Well, if you do it right.
In a hypothetical universe, this ball is no longer in this cup.
Basically. So the challenge right now is making the rate of how much it rotates consistent. Like, it seems to like not grip enough. Like the wheel doesn't rotate the same amount every time, so it ends up kind of, after more than 360 degrees of rotation, the actual landing place isn't super consistent. So
it's also annoying just because it's a really like just innately time-consuming trick for filling in a relatively small space. But because it's motorized, obviously, like every reset takes a long time, and like I don't know, it's been taking a while, so I have my concerns.
It's been the worst trick that I've worked on in months, if not years. Just through all the false starts and digging myself into a hole and just being frustrated, and the precision, and like, it's just, I don't like it.
Yeah,
but
I still honestly wouldn't mind replacing it with like a different trick, because I have an idea for one, but like obviously that would mean it wouldn't look like the original ride as much. But
yeah, well, we'll see. You'll know by tomorrow if the teacup trick has been ditched.
yeah, because I mean, like, obviously we want all the ideas to like be good and be work as their own standalone thing, and the point really isn't as much represent the ride to its fullest capability and has been proven with the Cyclone. We didn't really go with the representing the ride as much with that. It's mostly just the motion of the ride with a really cool machine trick. And so maybe if we reworked the teacup to be just some kind of spinning mechanism that spanned the cup really, really fast, and it was more of a simple trick, simpler to reset, just simpler to build overall and fit in the space, that might lead to a happier wife, happier life at this point, because this has caused us a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's a chance that happens. But yeah, stay tuned. It is day 8 of the amusement park machine, and it's all connected. Everything has been built. There are still tweaks that will eventually need to be made, inevitably, and decoration still needs to be added, but theoretically, you could run it from start to finish.
It would stop at the hand because that's currently broken off. But
Oh, true.
in a hypothetical universe where that's back where it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
then yes, it would probably run all the way through with a perfectly reset machine.
It might work. But it might not.
We're gonna have to wait and find
We're
out.
gonna have to wait and find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last couple things that have been added. I can't remember if I had all of these wacky connections.
The
with
teacups
teacup.
were like completely
Oh,
different.
we totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we totally were considering ripping it to shreds, basically.
Yeah.
And we kind of did. The whole motor isn't really involved anymore, but it still uses the same platform and it still uses the same wheel that kind of tracks around the outside. That's still all the same. It just works through an off-table weight now, which is a much better. It turns out, strangely enough, that making it spin faster made the wheel slip less, which still doesn't make sense to me, but it is reliably reaching the same positions in the rotations every time. It was just a matter of figuring out how to make the ball switch from cup to cup. So that was a bit of a journey, and this is probably the most intricate in terms of like weird connections and levers and pulling systems in the whole machine. And then the last couple things that have been added, the transition from the teacups to the pirate ship is the board into a ball lift, and then the very last connection that was made was adding this little pusher arm that releases the lever for the pirate ship. But yeah, we've
We
added
also
some
have a start and end.
decorations.
We
You
have
want to
a
talk about the start?
Yeah, we have a start and end point now, which kind of starts and ends with this little gate check thing where the ball's checking in and checking out, which still needs some decoration. And I did start a little bit today on some decoration. I enhanced the aesthetics of the Cyclone ride with some popsicle stick patterns. Considering doing some more of that. I mean, at this point, we pretty much just have decoration work to do, and so we have probably, hopefully, some more opportunities, maybe with the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel, to do more just like general pattern design stuff. Obviously, the pirate ship is already fully decked out in like the regular aesthetic stuff, but we still need the signs for all of the tricks, which are like actual like we have names for all the individual tricks. There will be like a graphic sign for all of them, and then some type of decoration to represent the actual start and end point and the actual like ticket checkout and stuff like that.
But that's going to be a job for tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. See you then. Day 9 of the amusement park machine, and it's done. Everything is done. The big update since the last time are all of these signages and titles.
Yeah, so there's a couple things, I think. So there's obviously the decoration in these titles that we added, which are like the names of each of the rides. So we have like the Cyclone over here, because I'm pretty sure at Canada's Wonderland, the type of ride that we base this off of, which is the swing and pendulum thing, is literally called the Cyclone. So that's why I came up with that. We have the Outer Orbit, which is this Ferris wheel, which I came up with because they kind of like expand outward and then obviously rotate around the center point. We have Teacup Turbulence. I always pronounce turbulence for some reason, so I've intentionally pronounced it right that time. But the crazy spinning teacups. We have Shipwrecked because it's a pirate ship, and then we have the Sky Serpent, which is kind of glued to the top of the roller coaster track right there, which is a giant snake. Which is one of the big changes here. Is I actually added some snake decoration. So basically, this entire roller coaster is meant to embody the body of a snake. So we have the tail on one end, and as you already saw, the head of the snake and a little tongue is on the other end. And then obviously I put some little spikies all the way down just for decoration as like scales. The other decoration I added was to the Ferris wheel. I wanted to showcase, because the Ferris wheel utilizes the aperture motion, I wanted to showcase that in the best possible way. And so I put these little paper things there, which kind of act as like a closing and opening door, which better showcase the actual motion that's happening. Because you can see all the balls expanding outward, but actually understanding why is important to understanding the trick. And so It was a way to add decoration, but also improve understandability a little bit.
So those are all the, oh, and this is the name of the whole amusement park. It's
Yep.
Machineland. This was a little logo I designed yesterday.
We have a little logo that Lyle designed, and then a little ticket that I designed.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be called Machineland.
Yep. So we are basically ready to test and like film tests and get it to work. So we're going to be starting that process right after this update.